What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Buffalo Commander. I'm your host, Alex. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section. Today, we're going to go over day 2 of training camp for the Buffalo Bills, check in with some of the media there and their comments on the happenings of today. And also, in addition to that, some of the content creators that were actually there, and then give you some of my thoughts on the practice itself and what we heard coming out of it. I think there's some pretty interesting stuff. I also I'll share some video here as I speak to give you something to look at while I do it. I think that's nice to have in the background there. But wanted to just kind of run down and tell you what happened today. So first, and we talked about this yesterday, where Damar Hamlin was starting at safety. Today, Mike Edwards stepped in, which is great. Didn't really hear anything crazy out of it. I did hear that Josh Allen kind of thread the needle between him and Rapp for a long completion to Matt Collins, who had a great day today by all reports. He was playing pretty much split time with Keon Coleman. However, a lot of work today from Keon in the slot per Anthony at cover one. He said he's doing a good job of reading the coverage, leverage, and sitting in space. Allen was finding him early and often. Also, second team offensive lineman. One big thing that came out of this that I think is rather interesting is Will Clapp is the starting center in this case, where everyone thought it would be Van Prangranger in that spot. He ran with the third team for the most part. So, and they started off the second team with Tylen Grable at left tackle and Ryan Vandermark as the premier swing tackle for us now. Who used to be a UDFA we brought in last year. He was playing left tackle primarily. He's really good in the left tackle spot, but I think they're trying to give him some reps at right just in case they need him to go over there as our primary swing tackle. So, and then immediately after that, they moved him and Tylen. They flipped spots on them and allowed Alec Anderson and Will Clapp to flip as well. So, it sounds like they're playing with some things on the second team line. I feel pretty good about it, just generally speaking. Next tweet here from Anthony says first offensive rep and team. It was 3x2 set Mac as the X receiver and Keon as the slot. And then the other side had Cook out wide with Kincaid as the 2 and Knox as the 3. I'm guessing they're playing like a quasi F spot for Kincaid there, and then maybe Knox in tight as the Y, but it's hard to tell just by these tweets because they're pretty short and quick. Sal Capaccio said Mike Edwards is starting at safety today. Damar Hamlin was yesterday. Josh Allen threw a strike to Matt Collins. We just spoke about that between Edwards and Taylor Rapp. Another post from Thomas DeLaus. Josh Allen has looked exceptionally sharp thus far. I really liked his touch on short intermediate passes through the opening portion. Deshaun Williams almost got a would-be sack today. Trubisky escaped the pocket on that play. He would have been sacked. However, it looks like Trubisky's having a pretty quietly good couple days of camp as well. So Mike Edwards, another Alex Brasky says Mike Edwards is participating in the first team, just more of the same. And then for the second straight day, we're 100% healthy. Although we did have a Cam Lewis injury today. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But he was seen in some pretty severe pain with lower body injury. And then he went to the sideline. And then after that, he came back, he had his helmet on. So it looks like he was trying to get back in the game or into the camp. But that he was seen actually on a scooter later on. So that could be precautionary just to stay off of it. It could be just a sprained knee or something like that. But we'll probably get more information tomorrow. Austin Johnson was working as the second one tech behind Daquan Jones today. And then also Matt Collins was dominating the target share early so far in the day. So he's working a lot of underneath on hitches, intermediates, on dagger concepts, and deep sits. So looks like a lot of dagger concepts are basically with one receiver runs a go and the other one runs a deep in route crosser or whatever underneath it. So it looks like a kind of like a dagger. Ray Davis had a 55-yard touchdown run today. That was pretty cool. Although there's no pad, so you really can't really deduce so much from that. Dwayne Smoot got some reps at edge with the ones today, which is nice to see. And then multiple reps. Next tweet is multiple reps and catches for Curtis Samuel out of the backfield, which I think is expected. There's also reports of him getting moved all over the place and all over the formation with lots of motions. And then like kinds of flat catches and slants and things like that out of the backfield. So, but I know he did line up wide quite a bit often today too. They just had him all over the place. So then the only one hitch from the offense today was there was one spot where Brasky said there was to the start of the second period of 11-11, the defensive line started wreaking havoc a little bit on our offensive line. Greg Rousseau got a batted ball, and Ed Oliver kind of pushed Deion Dawkins to the ground into Josh Allen. So it blew the play dead also. Again, Brasky says 2 nice catches from Matt Collins on day 2. Bills training camp on well-thrown balls from Josh Allen and Mitch Trubisky. Both went 20-plus yards. So Matt Collins having a great camp so far. That's nice to see as our wide receiver 4 potentially. But he's playing a lot as our wide receiver, our primary X in camp. I think that'll shift as we go, and you'll see more of Keon there more primarily, and then just kind of rotations. But also look for MVS potentially to get X reps, maybe tomorrow, probably, because they've been rotating quite a bit. There wasn't a lot from Dalton, Kincaid, or Shakir on the reports today, so that could be just them trying out new things and see what they could do without them being the primary target getters, and then seeing who steps up at the end of the day. So it sounds like it was Matt Collins today and Curtis Samuel for the most part. And then also Keon Coleman still playing that tertiary role as the third one. Cam Lewis, we talked about that, walked off by trainer. Cedric Van Brandon Granger, talked about that, third team center. It's another tweet. Lots of screens today to get it worked into the scheme. You'll see a lot of times camp the work on certain concepts in order to just see how effective they can be with it and work on the timing. Screen game is a timing oriented passing concept that really does take a lot of just patience and things like that. So they worked on that a lot today, not with kind of mediocre or middling results. So, and then this is an interesting comment. Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, Curtis Samuel, and James Cook all seeing reps in multitude of alignments and multiple formations and often letting them shift, especially Kincaid, Cook, and Samuel. So I think that's interesting. We can look at that and gather that Brady's, in his past stints in the NFL anyway, has been very stagnant with his motion and shifts. So it's nice to see that he's adapting and bringing forward new concepts to work with the personnel that we currently have. We have guys that can line up in a lot of different alignments, and I do think that he's trying to utilize all of them at the same time. And I think the results are bearing good fruit here in the first 2 days of camp. So it's nice to see. Keon did have one drop on the day. It's a drop fumble, potentially. It was a quick little hitch route is what it sounds like. Somebody said a slant, somebody else said a hitch. It's stick route, whatever you want to call it. There was questions whether he actually had possession of the football or not. It sounds like a drop to me from what it says. So that seems like the only real blemish for him. Josh Allen hit Curtis Samuel on a seam ball 25 yards downfield. I heard somebody else say 40 yards, although everyone said it was an amazing play. He also had one where Josh Allen stepped up in the pocket, kind of scanned to the right, and then threw across his body to the left to Samuel on another play for another touchdown. So Samuel got some good work in today, and he's really showing his explosiveness is what most people are saying. So, not a lot of defensive stuff I'm seeing here. I mean, I see Javon Solomon got a sack today, which is nice, on a cross chop dip right under through the right tackle for a would-be sack. That's nice to see from a rookie, but not a lot of highlights from that. It seems like the offense kind of dominated a little bit. Okay, so here's another one that's pretty neat. So Allen's target distribution. I made a tweet about this afterwards, but 7 of 7, Keon Coleman catch, MVS catch, MVS incomplete, Chase Claypool catch, James Cook catch, then 11-11, Keon Coleman catch, Matt Collins catch, Keon Coleman catch, Matt Collins incomplete, Curtis Samuel catch, James Cook catch, Curtis Samuel catch, Dawson Knox catch, Curtis Samuel catch, Dawson Knox incomplete, Keon Coleman catch, Matt Collins catch, Curtis Samuel catch, Ray Davis catch. I calculated out 16 for 19 today for 3 touchdowns and not a single target to Kincaid or Shakir, which I think is very important to show like they really are doing a by committee approach. And I think that they're gonna really run this as whoever is whoever's open this week's going to eat. And I think some of it was schemed. Kincaid was probably schemed out today a little bit with Shakir too. And we want to see how he's working with kind of his new weapons, but also to see if they can carry the load if something happens where we have to like target other people. That's the strength of our receiver room. At the top, it's unknown in a lot of ways, but in the depth portion, I mean, you probably struggle to find teams with a better wide receiver 4, 5, and 6. So that there's less of a drop off between our backups and our starters, which means you don't really know where it's coming from. So if you're going to not have a wide receiver 1, that's an ideal situation, kind of like Green Bay does, but it's not also a position that you can probably pull off if your wide receiver 4, 5, and 6 are just kind of below average, just guys. We actually have pretty good athletes, guys who contribute in this league, in our wide receivers 4, 5, and 6. So that's good. There were some standouts today. Curtis Samuel, of course. Khalil Shakir did really well in his reps in just like one-on-one and doing some just route work and things like that, but he didn't have any targets. Ray Davis had a great day, of course. Dalton Kincaid, same thing with Khalil Shakir. Just, he's a matchup nightmare, I think, for some of these teams, but I think he's really progressing, and him not getting targets today is not a huge issue. It's a nothing burger. Some offensive schematic tweaks. We just talked about that. Those are definitely positives. Von Miller and Matt Milano still looking good. Although I said Matt Milano is probably not 100% from some videos. I think he's getting there, and he'll be fine by the start of the season. Keon Coleman, once again, had a really good day. Lots of 12, 11 personnel. I saw some 13 they were talking about today as well. So there was a lot of that. And then lots of play action boots, which every time we go in the red zone, you can ask anybody I hang out with to watch football. The one thing I say is play action boot right now. They are way too stagnant in the past in that kind of scenario. And then it ends up stagnating them on the play, or they're not having enough movement after the snap. There's a lot of people just kind of sitting and turning around for balls on digs and hooks and curls and things like that. So I think that they're going to be into this offense is really taking shape. The one thing I want to end this video on is this is the most important piece. The last 2 years, the first 3 weeks of camp, the defense dominated, and that's normal. And the defense is typically ahead, but also more so with us than it has been in the past. We've really struggled the first 2 to 3 weeks of camp as it relates to getting ahead of the defense on offense. This is the first time since 2020 where we've come out in camp in the first couple of days. Hopefully it continues, where the offense just looks better than the defense and is able to move the ball at will. That's what we saw today. So in the last 2 days. So if we can keep it up, it's better to see that than see the defense dominate, in my opinion, because we know more about the defense, especially with the defensive head coach, than we do about the offense. So we really need to I think hone in on that and keep working with the concepts that work. We'll see some hitches here and there because it's camp. They practice every day. They're not perfect, but hopefully we'll see some good progression going forward. So thanks for showing up. This is all I got today. I think there's another day of camp tomorrow, so I'll probably do another video tomorrow. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.